Happy Sunday, everybody, from the heart of Lovecraft Country and the birthplace of American religious liberty. My name is Jonathan Jetty. You're watching Jonathan Jetty Art, and God help me, I'm going to try to do this thing right here. So, for those of you guys who don't follow me on X and are new to the channel, which can't be many of you guys, but some of you guys are, I don't really do this kind of thing, but what I wanted to make sure I did, and something I've been planning on doing for a while, is making a custom maquette for the painted comic book I do, Nosfero the Crypt Walker. And I've watched a lot of videos on this kind of thing before, and I've always known it's incredibly difficult to do, and that I wasn't sure I was ever going to try it. But as somebody who does painted work, it just makes things that much more difficult when you're trying to do something and you need reference for it, particularly when you have something like a mask like this and you're trying to figure out how to get certain angles correct, how to get the look of it. So what I did was I went in and I just started sculpting with two-part epoxy sculpt. So you take this stuff, as you know, there's a component A and a component B. You mix these two things together, and then you've got this set amount of time while things cure. And during that time, at first, it's very tacky and it's a little bit difficult to work with. Not awful, but a little bit difficult to work with. And then it starts to set up, and it actually gets a lot easier to do things like fine detail and that kind of work. And so that's what I've been working on. That's the stuff that I've been doing. And I got to figure out his costume, and the rest of it is going to be pretty simple to paint, but that's the big challenge for today. So we're going to see how that goes. Also do some talking about Springball Terminal Monstosity and Nosfero the Crypt Walker, the Oxidized and Art Edition, which Monday, I believe, I'm going to, which is to say tomorrow, I'm going to be giving them the go-ahead to go to print with those, because I found out something very frustrating, but something that we talked about last week when I was showing you guys the proofs for the books. If you missed it, here is the proof for the Oxidized Edition. Man, this thing looks good. And here is the proof for the Art Edition. I can't tell you how happy I am with these things and how excited that makes me for Springball. Because Springball is going to be using the same printer, and it's going to be awesome. Awesome to see. So I got these, and I got to these particular spreads in the book, if you guys remember from last week. Can't show that spread. There's a few of those, right? There are a few of those in Nosfero. Can't show that spread, but I can show this one. So I got to a spread like this one. What's up, Grey Wolf Graphics and Mo Biggs? Good to see you. Let me say hi to you guys first before I get started on all this craziness. Let's see who we've got here in the chat. We've got Michelle Bowers. It's great to see you, Michelle Bowers. We've got Mo Biggs in the house. What's up, Mo Biggs? We've got Grey Wolf Graphics in the house. It's good to see you, Grey Wolf Graphics. I hope you are doing well, my friend. We've, of course, got Jeremy Burtz in the house, OG channel member. Great to see you. K-Pop Junkie, I wish you a hearty Jimin this fine Sunday, April 26th, depending on where you are in the world. Let me see here. Shadowhawk Talks is here. And let me see who else I have got. I believe I had Mark's Music Obsession, who's going to be heading out on a cruise. Have a great cruise, brother. And infamous Mr. Cursed, another channel member. Look at these guys, these channel members rolling up on here. And of course, hail all, Shadowhawk Talks wants everybody to know big news for the May 9th art auction to help my GoFundMe. pics on X, Instagram, and Facebook. So if you haven't checked it out yet, do check it out. And thank you so much for the return, Jimin. Much appreciated. What's up, Leighton? How you doing, brother? It's great to see you. And yes, indeed. And there's Infamous. Yeah, so, yes, I'm using a 2-part epoxy sculpt on this. I have never made a maquette before. I have messed with this stuff before to customize. What if I customized with it? Probably to repair some stuff, customize a few small things, never anything major, or to get, something stabilized or a figure stabilized that had something going on. But I've never done anything like this. And it just dawned on me that when you see artists who do painted work, a lot of times, one of the things that you'll notice is, let me move this down just a little bit closer there for you guys. One of the things you'll notice is they have a tendency to build maquettes of their stuff just to make it a little bit easier for them to see what's going on. And so I'm using usually figure models and things like that, and then photo reference, but also, those little plastic figures that manga artists use and things like that, which are a lot better. You've used tons of Magic Sculpt, so you know what I'm talking about, Leighton. It's just a great product for people who don't want to use Sculpey, have to bake things and all of that kind of stuff. And it really is durable when you're through with it. And so here I am. Yes, the Figma figures. Thank you so much, Leighton. You're 100% right. So there's this company called Boss Fight Studios that released their own brand new blanks figures. And the figures had this kind of generic superhero mask on it with a bald head. And I thought, what's up? The original Springball fan has entered the room indeed. I was just talking about Springball. I'm doing great, man. So much to talk about with regards to Springball. Nosfero is in the glide path. And Nosfero is I cannot wait to get that. But the Springball, this is my favorite part of making comics. This part right here, where you have the story together and you have the idea of what you want to do for it. And it just all starts coming together. So right now, the big thing I'm doing with Springball is I'm looking at where I want to add some stuff to slow down pacing a little bit as I introduce new things. Yeah, the set time is the only parameter on Sculpt Epoxy. You're absolutely right. And what I didn't know is as it, which makes total sense, by the way, but as it's drying, or I should say it's curing, or whatever it is, the set time. Thank you. You have it, Leighton, in the chat. It gets easier to do fine detail and more difficult to make big moves with, so you don't have to worry if you've got a form you like and you want to detail it with it crushing in. And that's something that I ran into over and over and over again. How long until landing? Oh, very, very soon. Yeah, so Nosfero the Cryptwalker, I'm giving the printer the go-ahead hopefully on Monday is the plan, barring anything crazy coming up, which I don't think will be the case. But I was just talking about this at the start of the stream, and thank you for helping me to get back to that, and then we'll talk Springball. So there were these 2 spreads in the book, or these 3 pages and 1 spread in particular in the book, where the color was totally off. And I kept going back and forth trying to figure out what was the problem. So here's the one that is correct. And you can see there's all this bright color and beautiful detail. The paintings are showing up. And then here is the one that is wrong. And it was so strange because I'm using the exact same files I used for the first printing. And I could not... Actually, I should go and check the first printing. Which I don't think will be a problem. But this is just... You'll get what I'm saying in a second here. Where is it? Well, it'd be easier if I wasn't taking so long. And nope. There we go. And this spread. Now, if you look at this spread, all of Nosfero's colors go dark, and her hair, which used to be blonde, is now grayed out. All the colors died. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And if you look at the first printing of Nosfero, which all these files are based on, right? All these files are based on. It did not have that particular problem at all. Like it was nice and bright and looking really sharp. And actually, I want to just double check that because it is, but I just want to see the side by side if I can now that I have this here. So, let me see here. And a happy Sunday to all of you guys, by the way. It's great to see you. Let me see here. What's up, Mighty Geek Studios? Oh, yeah, here we go. This is a perfect... Let's see if I can make this work here. Let me just double check this. Which one did I grab? Hold on a second here. Okay, yeah. This will get you... I mean, this will explain... It's two different printers, so it's a bit of a problem for showing it. But if you... Oh, actually, you can see it much clearer on screen. Do you see that? Look at how dark Nosfero's face is here versus here. This is the book, and these were supposed to be the same files. So here's what happens. No, it's worse. It's so much worse than just checking the files. It's worse than that, Mighty Geek Studios. This is the thing that broke my heart. Or not broke my heart, made me laugh, and then I was like, oh my word. So, here's what happened. Not here, not here. Where is it? Now I gotta put this page back in here. This is to quote and to to steal from AJ of the Y Files. This is not a professional operation by any stretch. So, there we go. So, what happened was, when I reworked the InDesign files and brought them into Illustrator, what I did was, I'm working on a maquette for this thing, and I can't wait, Enrique Cabrera. It's great to see you. Hail, Eno Sheeran, how are you doing? And hail, Jonathan Chat. Hail to you. And shoot, why can't I click on this? There we go. The proof sucks. This is why I don't trust digital proofs. Now, here's the funny thing about it, right? Is that it was my fault. So the proof for the art edition was perfect, and here's what happened. And this just kills me, right? Yep, you guys can see it. What's up, Corey Landis? Good to see you, channel member. How you doing, brother? And so here's what happened. When I was moving the InDesign file around, it grabbed two older, darker files that I had tossed, that I removed from the file, and relinked to those for 3 pages. And it was only in going into the InDesign file that I looked at it, and then what I output, I went, wait a minute, something's wrong here. And that's what it was. So I went in, deleted those files, put the new links in there, and that's what fixed it. So if I had had the right pages in there, the proofs would have been perfect. It was all on me, and I said to him, I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys. That was me. I don't know why one book had the right pages linked to it and the other book didn't. But that's one of the... We check these things 1,000 times. And you're still going to get to a point where you either catch stuff, and if you wait too long, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you correct it till it's broke. So you always got to find that balance. Thank you, and happy Sunday to all of those who have that. Thank you, and happy Sunday to you all, those in the chat. Gotcha. There we are. How are you doing? Is it Thor... Is it Thorin Acostia? God, I can't tell when it's all linked like that. So yes, guys, that was the mistake that I made when I was working on this thing. So now, here's what I'm going to do. Here's my plan for the day. I'm going to be making this maquette for Nosfero. I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about, or not more than a little bit probably, about Springball. So here we go. So, as I've been working on Springball and as I've been putting the book together, one of the big things that I've come to realize is, and it's a strange thing that happens whenever you do, whenever you write, but when I'm writing my books, the characters kind of reveal themselves. And that happened with the character of Greylock in Nosfero, and it started to happen with all of Nosfero's Springball's side characters. And so what I found was that I love my characters. I love Drook, who is Springball's buddy, and I love named for Jericho Drook from The Shadow. And so I love Drook, and I love Molly, who is the gal in this book. But the more I started to explore Kingsport, which is the city Springball lives in, the more I realized that there wasn't a compelling... How do I put this? I wanted everything to tie together and make sense, that the characters are there for a reason. And if there's one thing I would say that I see happening a lot in comic books right now, and it's kind of, there's a couple different things. One, you see all of these extras in comics in certain instances, and they don't really serve a purpose, right? So you'll see background characters that they're not different levels of background characters. And it's actually the exact opposite in horror films, where you don't, because of the Blumhouse method, you don't see any wide shots of background players like you do in Jaws, or people going about their day, and it makes everything feel very claustrophobic. And I started to think about how, in the world of those early comic books, there were so many characters that had backstories, even in the 60s, that were relevant to the plot or added nuances to it. So that's what I've been really developing. And I'm starting to really connect with Molly and connect with Druk in a very meaningful way, and adding more side characters. You said it right. Thor Anacostia. Okay, hopefully I got that right. And what's up, son of Crayon Slayer? I love it. Hey now, indeed, indeed. I remember the original Springball didn't really catch on. Only 2 issues. You're right. I never thought the world would see him again. I'm so happy and thrilled to see Springball live again. So am I. Yeah, the biggest thing with Springball was something that's so much easier now. Is that in order to find an audience, you had to go to conventions, beat the pavement, and it's so easy to get lost in that sea, particularly if you're like me and you're introverted. Just want to see what I'm doing with the belt width here. So I think that could be pretty good. Use some room there to make that work. And then I just got to look at how the length of this thing is going to work out here. So let me see what we're fooling with here. So I need to make it at least to that level right there. And then we'll just have to pray, as they say. And so the thing for me with Springball that was so frustrating is it actually got reviewed up on some of the bigger sites at the time, like Ain't It Cool News. They did a weekly Wednesday comic shop run, and they reviewed Springball #1. You could probably still find that online. And it was kind of like taking jabs at, of course, does anyone miss the McFarlane sort of stuff? But then they also really complimented my lettering and all that stuff, and I was thrilled. But the cost of making a book back then was ridiculous, because everything was offset printing. The color, there was no digital printing. I mean, I can't even believe, how do I word this? All right, if you know this, you know this. What's up, StealthX5? How you doing, brother? This is the thing, right? So I sent the files on zip disks, I think. Either zip disks or CDs. I burned them not onto DVDs, but CDs, and mailed them snail mail, because you couldn't send or upload anything like that with any kind of guarantees when I did the book the first time, or I wasn't set up to do that. So I couldn't fit them on, so I actually made all the print files. They were 11 by 17. They had to lay them out, and they were 150 DPI at 11 by 17. So, oh my God, yes. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Zip. I had forgotten jazz drives. Oh my gosh, I just forgotten that term. Yeah, zip disks and zip drives, if you guys were around for those dark ages. Then all of a sudden you have like thumb drives with terabytes of storage and things like that. It was nuts. So that's one of the things that was really difficult for me to do at the time. And I'm hand lettering it, hand inking it on Bristol board. And I'm also doing the color of the book as a separate... that's going to make me get into trouble if I don't fix that. I just realized I used the angled end to measure with there on this. So I looked at it and I thought, it was just at a certain point I wasn't fast enough. Really, I'm so glad to be doing it now, but I wasn't skilled enough, and the tech and the ability to put yourself out there is nothing like what we have now. So anybody who is in this space and who is talks about like what it's like now, I cannot tell you, this is the best it's ever been for independent comics by a country mile. What's up, Test Chip? How are you doing? I remember zip disks from my college years, as do I. Yes, I used to have to tell students, make sure you bring in the zip disk so you can save your work. Oh, it just kills me, man. It just kills me. That was the SCCSI, the SCSI, the SCUZzy version. Oh my lord. my scanner that I scanned Springball in had a massively wide SCSI port. Needed a massively wide SCSI port. And we had to use our tower and customize it to have that port in it so that we could use our scanner. We had to do that several times. Gosh, it was horrible. Yeah, Jazz was just from iOmega, like the zip. It was just bigger, yes. So our scanner had a giant SCSI port. Think about, gosh, if you don't know what those are, guys, putting those screws into your into your port so you could use your scanner and your printer. Oh, God. What's up, Arcadian Comics? How you doing? Gosh, we're having a flashback to crazy times. Yeah, the SCSI scanners were way better. Yeah, they were at the time. Well, I had 11 by 17 Epson, and it was great. I still do. But it's a new one with a USB port, thank God. I used, oh my gosh, yeah, I remember those too. 5.5-inch floppies and 3 1/4-inch discs. I remember those days too. Yeah, but I mean, I certainly wasn't making art. I wasn't using Photoshop till after I graduated from college. All right, so that should work. So now, let's take a look. So this right here, some of you guys might know what these are, but I order a lot of readers from Amazon so I can see what the heck I'm doing, which is increasingly, they're higher in strength. So I got this this little leather, sort of pleather fake case with my readers, or one of the sets of readers I have, and I realized, hey, I can use this to make his costume. So that's what I'm going to do, and you guys are going to watch the nightmare unfold, I am sure. So let's take a look and see what we can do here. So I just want to see what I'm thinking of looking at in terms of fabric here. So let's see here. That and that. I'm probably going to cut this in half once I get to a good point to do that. But let's just see here. Okay, so let me... Somewhere there is someone who works with fabric who is crying watching me do this, and I apologize on behalf of the hotel. There we go. Let's see. So that. And then, just so I have a little measuring thing. These don't have, thank God these don't have to be perfect, because actually, not having things not be perfect is sometimes feels like it's a specialty. I was joking with one of my brothers the other day on the phone, and I had this great shop teacher, rest in peace, Mr. Lowe, passed away many years ago, and every time you'd swing your hammer and you'd miss the nail and hit the wood, he'd always say, "I see you're signing your work in, Jetty." He was great. Yeah, you want to make sure everybody knows that's yours. Sign your work. Right as the hammer hit the wood. Any of you guys ever hear that growing up? I mean, that just cracks me up to think about now, but yeah. So for me, yeah, using whatever you can, like MacGyver or the A-Team, much respect. Much respect, Corey Landis, for that reference. Yeah, I need a new 11 by 17 scanner. My Plus Tech went kaput on me. Oh man, yeah. So I gotta say, I mean, I love having an 11 by 17 scanner. Let me be clear, but with Photo Merge. With Automate Photo Merge, it's easier than ever to use a small scanner and get your work to go together, because some of the paintings I've done have been huge, and they take up a ton of space, and it can be so frustrating to get the if I didn't have that. I was so embarrassed when someone pointed that out to me, because I was still trying to eyeball connect paintings that took multiple scans for a while, and then someone said to me, they go, "Why don't you just go into Automate Photo Merge?" And then it just put the files together perfectly, and I thought, oh my days. Oh my days. So yeah, if you are an action figure customizer, you're going to be in agony watching this, but just remember, I'm an illustrator, artist, and a painter, and I am not a, let me look at what Nosfero's costume looks like a little bit more. You'd think I'd know by now, wouldn't you? So let's see here. So I'm going to grab this. And then let's see here. So for those of you guys who don't know, actually I should put this where people can see it, because this is just one of my reader copies. Hang on a second. For those of you guys who don't know what I'm working on, this is my comic book Nosfero the Crypt Walker, and this is what I'm working on. So let me see here. So his costume, every now and again I've caught myself, I'll change it a little bit. It's like, you know. But Yeah, it's occasionally consistent. It's inconsistently consistent. So let me see here. I mean, the main thing is the boots and the shape, and that's where I was thinking originally. I'm not sure yet. I may do the tops of his boots that have this very particular kind of look to them. I might do those with fabric instead and glue that on, but we're just going to have to see. Yeah, it's evolving, exactly. As you know, sometimes it evolves from panel to panel. Shanth, with all this AI craze, I'm surprised you haven't animated Nosfero doing the crypt walk. I haven't yet. I haven't had the time. Maybe when I get this figure done, I'll be able to have better reference for it to figure it out. But I've absolutely been playing with AI, and I want to say something about it that I know I've said on previous streams. Leighton knows what I'm talking about. A lot of you guys in the chat know what I'm talking about, right? AI is absolutely outstanding at making generating clip art is the best way I would put it. So it generates things that are the equivalent of clip art. So if you give it something, it can do some really interesting stuff. But if if you give it something basic, it'll give you something back very basic. It's, how do I put it? It's if you want to do something that's really cool, it's very frustrating. So if you have a clear idea of what you want, and that last percentage is the difference between mediocre special effects and great special effects, mediocre character design and great character design. But that's all AI really does, and it's fun. You can use it to get yourself a base of something you can work with, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to completely change it or start with a detailed base and then correct it and correct it and correct it. So really, I just think that it's limited in what it can do, and I don't know why we're obsessed with it making artwork. When AI could probably be doing some much more interesting things. I don't know. Let's put it to work on repairing things like spinal cord injuries and, looking into things like Parkinson's and MS and trying to solve those issues by looking at breaking down gene sequences really quickly. I'd much rather it be doing things like that than, it can do whatever, fine. People, have fun with it, but that's the stuff I always think about with the potential for AI is to augment and break down data quickly to look at things that are very complicated like DNA strands and things like that so that we can help people with certain conditions. So there you go. Wow, that's a trip, man. I am so nervous right now. You guys have no idea. What's up, Eric Weathers? How you doing, boss? Good to see you. The man himself. The man himself is here. Nosfero letterer. An all-around good guy. Check out Battlebrick Road. Battlebrickroad.com. The link is in the description, I hope. And he is the letterer of Nosfero the Cryptwalker. And thank God for that. And I'll tell you what, that was like the only bit of peace I had on that job doing a fully painted comic book. Oh my word. There we go. So let's see here. Cool. All right, we're getting there. Look at this, guys. It's like watching a child do a crafting project, but less skilled, is my guess. So yeah, I was talking with my brother about the sequel to Nosfero, as I'm thinking now more and more about the second part of Springball is something that I kind of have a sense of. Obviously I know what that is because this is one story arc in the first 2 issues, but I am getting to the point where I'm thinking about the Springball story after the first 2 issue, the 2-part story. Look at this, man. Holy cow. So everybody's saying hello to Eric Weathers. Jeremy Burt's channel member saying hello, Eric Weathers. And Corey Landis says, I know some talented people who are convinced they'll never find the time to produce quality. Embraced AI. Surprised. Yeah. Quickly embraced AI. Yeah, it's, how do I put it? You can't, people are going to do what they're going to do, and it wasn't that just a bit of wisdom there for you on this fine Sunday. And thank you guys so much for being here. Hit the like if you have not yet. It does help. It's fun to watch, as fun as it is to watch views get removed and, that kind of thing on YouTube. We're always fighting an uphill battle to get the word out about the work, the art, the books, the characters. Holy cow. This is so fun already. I've been watching this guy on this YouTube channel called 4 Keys Books, and he is, some of you guys may have seen his stuff, but he's just incredible. And he does custom bookbinding. And recently, he bound the author of The Martian, I forget, Artemis, I guess it was, and Project Hail Mary. He rebound that guy, the author's copies of the books. He did things that were so unbelievable. Like, he has knowledge that is just incredible. Yeah, there is no shortcut to greatness. Amen, Arcadian Comics. It's absolutely true. Hate to break it to you, bro, but your timeline just got cursed by me, Sturgis. It's okay. You're welcome here. This is a safe space for you. Sometimes you got to be cursed by people. Andy Ware, thank you. So Andy Ware, the author of those books, reached out to this guy because skill finds skill out there. People who are artists find other artists, and he's a huge fan of this guy. Andy Ware is a huge fan of this guy who does bookbinding, and just he does his own marbled paper patterns. Like, this guy, when you see people making marbled paper by hand, it's like Easter egg dyeing with your kids from hell. That's the best way I could describe it. It's like if Easter egg dyeing could be turned into hell, that's what hand marbling paper is. And so he decides to take the edge of the book and dip it into the marbling so the edges are marbled, and then at one point he learns he's got to shave the books down because they're too big, and I just felt like I was going to be sick. It was so disturbing. I was like, God, it was like watching a horror movie. He goes, "Welp, I'm going to go for a walk with my wife." He just puts the book down. I was like, oh, no. Oh, God. Well, you're going to watch some of that today with me, I can tell you, because that's how this stuff tends to go. And like I said, the fun thing about all of this stuff is being able to... Let me just take a look and see what I've got there. Nice. Look at that. Okay, I can see where it's going together, and then I just have to trim that top part off, which is an essential part of the process. Oh, man, it's like watching a horror movie. Like, I looked at my wife, and I'm like, I would quit. At one point, he gets all of the books done, and then he tries to he embosses and tries to gold stamp the titles on the books, and the gold leafing or whatever he used doesn't take. And it's screwed, and then he tries to put it on there, and it's off register, and I felt sick watching it. Yeah, autism didn't exist in my day. Proceeds to do edge marbles on books. Yeah, well, this guy, I don't know how old this guy is, but I feel like he's about my age or a little older. And, but for all I know, he could be younger than me, and he just has a long Viking beard. You never know with people these days, right? When you grow that beard, you look like Gandalf all of a sudden. But he's a huge fan of, like, Lord of the Rings and D&D and Dune, so he's done videos, and he has... This is the thing I love about this stuff. Hold on a second here. Let me see if I can figure this out. Well, to be fair, Shanth, it was either doing that... that's what I said! I said that to my wife. I go, we want him doing this so he doesn't kill again. That's 100% what I thought when I saw this stuff. So anyway, he's his stuff, the stuff that he does. So he'll take a Lord of the Rings handbook or whatever, or Dune, and he'll do these custom like lettering and leather tooling work on it and stuff like that. These guys are awesome. And but I want to see how many subscribers he has, just because, not because that's the metric of the universe, but because it really does show you how much more people are getting into watching people do stuff. I've always been into that, and obviously you guys are, because you're subscribed to this channel, but that is... I saw this guy, and I was like, dude, you're a maniac. Let me see if I can find it. Oh my gosh. Lord help me. Because you'd think, 4 Keys Book Arts. He has 292,000 subscribers. And I look at that stuff, and the first reaction that I have when I see that number is, why isn't it more? That's the only thing I think when I look at his stuff. Why isn't it more? It should be more, because this guy
is a freaking genius. And he just does... Where the hell did I put that? Oh, there it is. What he does, he is one of one. And what he does is just a wonder to behold. Just incredible stuff. Okay, so let's look at that and see where we are. Okay, so I've got that right there. I'll tell you one thing. Once this thing goes on, it's going on. So I want to figure out what the best way to do that is. So we're going to see how we can put that together. And I don't want it to be... I want it to be tight enough, but not horribly tight. So let me just see what I'm dealing with here. Okay, that's not bad. Now that'll stay too. So let me mark that. Hail, Mark's Music Obsession. I hope you're having a great cruise, my friend. Since I said Mark, I have to, of course, remember. Let me see here. Let's try. Let me put that mark right there. There we go. All right. As Bob Ross would say, now let's have some fun. See what happens. So, yeah, one of the things that I'm thinking when I'm doing this is, and it's going to be so fun for you guys to watch me make terrible mistakes, because they are happening. Rest assured. There we go. I want to make sure that this syncs up. You know what I just realized? I probably should have told my wife to get me some new super glue, because I don't even know if I have super glue for this. So that could be a problem. Where did I put it? There it is. I'm probably going to need to get a wrench to open this super glue, because this super glue has been in the wars. I'm going to move Nosfero, because there's this copy of Nosfero, because while it's a reader copy, it's not made to be glued, as I understand it. Oh, man. Oh, there we go. I got it. Now let's see if the glue's dried. That could be a problem. So here's what I'm thinking I'm going to do with this. I'm going to take this. There we go. I'm going to take this, and I wish my son was here. Well, for a million reasons. I miss the guy, but I wish my son was here because he is so good at this kind of crazy building stuff. Even though he once was building this like crazy cardboard plane or something like that, and I was upstairs and Lauren and I were unbelievably tired, and we were upstairs, we were just chatting and saying, "Man, I just need a break. I'm just tired." And right as we said that and we kind of laid down, he was making this cardboard thing, and he took after his dad in this way, and just stabbed through the cardboard and cut his finger. And but he would build some of the craziest things you ever saw. I mean, it was just, he had a mind for it. And it's interesting with both of my kids. You guys know Little Miss E's work, my daughter, who did the Springball. If you haven't seen it, it's right here. I keep it on my desk. My Springball crochet over here, and she also did a Nosfero crochet, come to think of it. Let me grab that, because there he is right there. So mine's not going to be as good as hers. I think we can all accept my Nosfero is not going to be as good as her Nosfero, but we are where we are. So I'm going to use that so that I can then when that dries enough, which shouldn't take too long with Gorilla Glue, I can use that as a tab to glue the belt down like that, and it'll be obscured, so it won't be so noticeable where it connects, or there won't be a bump, because I'm probably going to have to do some more stuff with it. There's infamous Mr. Kirst in the chat. Thank you guys again for being channel members, you and the missus. Appreciate you guys very much. Cranberry Landers is OG. Thank you so much, man, for all of the years now of support of this channel, guys. All the stuff I do, the comics I do, and all the stuff I'm getting ready to ship out for Nosfero, I cannot wait to get that stuff printed, is because of you guys, and that is never lost on me. This is a really cool solve for this, man. I really would not have thought of this if Mrs. Ingetti had been telling me, like, she was saying, like, yeah, maybe you could use, like, some leather or some cloth or something, and I'm just looking around for stuff in my office, you know, because we're trying to, like, you know, not have to buy a million things, and every time we do a project, because, you know, you've got your materials, and stuff like that. Oh, that's that. Let me just see if that's got enough. If it's taut enough to hold, which I think it is going to be. Now, the trouble with that is going to be... I think I can make that work. Okay, so we'll let this one be here. And let me see here. Oh, got a happy Sunday, Cranberry Landers. Indeed, brother. Happy Sunday to you, man. So let me see here. That's like my eldest son. One of his Nintendo controllers stopped working. He tore it apart, found the problem, took that part from another controller, and got it working again. It's a different kind of mind, man. He's had that. It's funny, like with our kids, they both have these skills and these abilities that just were there. You could see them when they were little, and they were born on the same day, just a couple minutes apart. So it wasn't because of the seasons of the year they were born or anything like that. I mean, it was completely amazing to watch those two, and where they went. So yeah, I mean, the 2-part epoxy sculpt. I got to tell you, if you guys are just now getting here for the Nosfero face, when I'm done painting that and cleaning that up, it's going to look really solid. It's going to be great for what I always need it for, which are down shots, down 3/4 shots, right? Got it reasonably symmetrical at this scale. I mean, it's tiny. Look at that, man. It's smaller than a thumbnail. And then, of course, the really tough one, which is always up shots, are really tricky with that mask. So getting shots like this and like that are really tricky. And I spent a lot of time when I'm working on Nosfero having to use cobble reference together to make this stuff work. But the mask is always a difficult part. The boots are always a difficult part. And his belt, the way his belt's designed, is always a difficult part. Let me see here. But when I try to fix humans that way, it's all that's wrong with you. Yes, exactly. It's true. And you can't take other people's spare parts. You can't. Yeah, when you do that, it's, oh, what's wrong with you? Yeah, I know what you're saying. You're cracking me up, Art Haida. Yes, exactly. You can't be doing that, Art Haida. You gotta stop. You must be stopped. So the other part of his belt that I've got to sort, there's a couple of parts actually I got to sort, but and I think I can use a tab like that to do it, which you don't see this part of his belt that much, but it's important, is the back part of his belt. And you know what's funny? I was thinking about using that tab for the front of his belt, for the back of his belt, but now I think it should be the front of his belt, because that's where his symbol is going. And if his symbol is going on the front, let me see if I'm doing this, if this makes any sense logically. Does this make sense? I think it does. If the front of his belt has the face mask on it, then that'll give me more room to play with this, assuming I measured correctly. I may be recutting that in a second, so we'll see. Because maybe I needed to make this longer to fit more stuff on the other side. But you know what? We'll see where that goes. As we always like to say, I'll burn that bridge when I get to it. Or as Robert Downey Jr. wisely said, okay, now this is going to be a problem. All right. So here's one of those instances where doing some light finishing work is going to be necessary to make this thing work. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was going to ask what maquette was going to be used for. I immediately thought you were making a larger statue. Yeah. This is for comic book posing and angles and photo reference. So for those of you guys who don't know, one of the things that is important to me when I'm working on Nosfero is, while I can paint and illustrate figures... Hold on a second, I got to blow my nose. It's a mess. It's a mess. Hang on a second. There we go. All right, hang on a second. Let me get my silly head on here. Let me see. Where is it? Didn't I have this razor? There it is. This razor, Kaio, it says. Yeah, so I actually don't like to draw, in particular, female figures, but figures of any kind, without model reference. So I use a website. There's a website that has 360-degree rotations of nude models called Pose Space. And I've been using them for a number of years, and the reason is that, and also I use, Hammer horror photography, things like that, because when you're a painter, and even as an artist in general, when you have a particular stock figure that you make all your characters, and you just make it taller, or you make this different or this different,
you lose some of the individual attractiveness of people. Like, all of your figures start to look kind of the same. Even when you change them a little bit, they all look kind of the same. And I need to really take the photo into account and the person into account, because there's just little qualities about people's faces that make them unique. Let's see here. It's me. Sturgis says, let me see here. I like to take parts from the rats and see if I can create a new rat variant. Well, listen, if you have any luck with that, do let me know. That would be a breakthrough for us. And Leighton Gay says, I used them 2 ages ago. I have a ton of sets before you got the 360 images. Yes. And the 360 images, the best thing about the 360 images is you usually get about 24 shots with those, or photographs. And the thing with that is that if you take those 24 photos and then you also flip them horizontally, you get another series of photos. So the left arm becomes the right arm becomes the left. And so if you wanted that foot forward instead of the other foot, it all makes it so much easier. But there's a way that light passes through skin, and there's a way that it's hard to describe, that shadows do things that you wouldn't expect, that even the best academic artist drawing out of their head is not going to create those quirks. And since I'm not exactly doing photorealist work when I do Nosfero, I'm already losing a certain amount of that stuff. I don't want to lose more than I have to. So for the case of his icon, for his symbol here on his chest, what I'm doing is, if I can just tip this just a little bit, there we go. What I'm doing is I'm painting it so that I can see exactly where the edges start and stop, because I don't want to cut inside of that white area or outside of that white area. I want to make sure that you guys can see and I can see where the really specific guidelines are, because remember, this thing is going to be quite small, and this might even be, I think I looked at this, did I look at this the other day? And that's going to be, it'll be okay. Yeah, I was checking this, and I was worried for a second that it was too big, but I think I'd rather it be too small, because that way I'm not burning a bunch of fabric to try to correct it. Actually, maybe it doesn't make a difference. So this is how I'm going to go about, mainly for cutting purposes and masking purposes. Cranberry Langers saying hello to everybody in the house, and it's great to have you here, Cranberry Langers. And then let's see here, and Jeremy Burtz is saying hello and yo from Infamous Mr. Cursed. And again, thank you guys for being channel members. I appreciate all of you guys. And those of you who are new and those of you who are gifted memberships, I hope you'll stick around. I hope you'll stick around and help make this possible, because that's really what you're doing when you guys support this channel. It's I'm making stories, I'm making books, and I'm want to do as many of these videos as I can that shows you a look inside the studio. And I have to say, the weirdest thing about doing the fly on the wall, sharing your studio space with people, is sometimes because typically those of us who are introverts and artists don't think about it in terms of, oh, well, I'm going to go make artwork now, let me invite an audience, which is why you don't see a lot of artists doing live streaming, making artwork as a regular thing when they're writing and creating this stuff, let alone talking at the same time. It's because the first stages of that, at least for me, have been being self-conscious, and you kind of don't realize, like, well, what do I want to do? And so, you kind of like, okay, I have to make art for the camera, instead of just thinking, okay, I need to make some artwork. And you know what you want to get done and what you need to do that day, but there's a self-conscious aspect to it. And I said, for today, last night, I'm making a maquette. What should I do for the stream tomorrow? And I thought, make your maquette on stream. If it's terrible, if it goes awry, that's what they're paying for. They're paying to watch a real experience and not watch you, do a pretend thing where it's like, oh, wow, I'm going to pretend like I have no idea where this is going. I really don't. Don't know how this is going to go. Did not pre-plan this. What's up, Noxie? How are you doing? I feel like it's been a minute since I've seen you. Hi, Shanth. Hi to you. I hope you are well. They are really great I can't imagine for sculpting. Yeah, because I've seen a lot of sculptors get inspired by it. Caleb Reynolds in the house. What's up, Caleb? How are you doing? Woo, Shanth up in here. Hail the chat. Hail to you, Caleb. It's great to see you, man.
Let me see here. Yep, everybody's saying their hellos. Love to see it. Happy little mistakes every day. Indeed, happy little mistakes every day indeed. Let me see here. In Leg Kick 1, I just got your name in the crest. So Leg Kick 1, let me go back here. Let me just try this real quick. Sean, have there been any references that you've done with those models that have surprised you? Like there was some interaction. Oh, that's a really good one with the body and the skin, etc. that surprised you. Yeah, always, often. I can't say how many times. So Leg Kick 1. I went and watched that heavyweight UFC match you recommended a couple of streams ago. Wow, was that a firefight. I thought you were kidding. That was an absolutely insane firefight. I can't believe those guys made it to the end of the fight. That was ridiculous. I mean, if I was forced to declare a winner for that fight, I would say the winner of that fight were the fans. That's who came out of that fight the winner. That was an incredible fight. Unbelievable chin checks and just incredible just brawling and trying to skill your way out when you were hurt. All that stuff was fantastic, man. So yeah, hats off to those guys. That was a hell of a fight. And you don't see those very often. And there's probably probably best for the fighters if you're not seeing too many of those, but but it was great, man. Hats off to them for leaving it all in the ring and giving everything. That was some crazy stuff. Really great fight, Leg Kick 1. So yeah, so let me see here. Let's see. Jeremy Burst is here. Yes, sir. Glad you liked it. Yeah, I loved it, man. I loved it. It was a great fight, and it was those guys. It's funny. I watch a lot of fights, and I watch actually a lot of behind the scenes stuff on people training, and it really inspires me in my work. It really gets me excited about what I do because I think you have to kind of bring that. Let me make that a little bigger just so I can see you guys. So it really does make me think about that Customato quote that he used to tell Mike Tyson, which is, discipline is doing something you don't want to do like you love it. And that goes into my mind all the time. That there was a point on Friday where I hit a saturation point with regards to looking at the Nosfero proofs. And there have been several of those where I go, I can't, the more I look at this, the more exhausting it gets for me to try to figure out what's going on here. Like my brain just tapped out. And it was anyone who's doing this, anybody who's writing, illustrating, publishing, or printing and shipping out their own comics, you're a madman to do this. You're insane. And it's not the same thing as writing. It's not just writing it by yourself or doing this or having other people do the things. When you're doing all the stuff by yourself, and that stuff is all on your shoulders, you guys in many ways are getting a much more direct experience, but it's not the same thing. There's so much more involved in it. And there's so many of us, doing that kind of stuff here. And you have to have a type of will to get these things done. And that's where I think, where we kind of separate ourselves out as creators is the will to keep streaming. I mean, it's the first year, the first 2 years when things are growing, or sometimes when things aren't growing, it's even more of a measure. But you're doing, trucks saying hello to you guys. We can honk back. And when you're doing all of this kind of stuff, it's hard to, if things go well right from out of the gates when you start, it's really easy to go, well, why is it so hard for people to do this? But when you get into however many years I've been on YouTube, which I haven't looked at in a while, that's when the measuring really shows. So I've been in CG now since, I think that I did I can't remember what the signature is on it. Hang on a second. Yes. Oh my God, you're cracking me up. Oh my gosh, yeah. Mensch Eggerschischnik. Let me see here. Let me try to find this for you guys. or at least find it for myself. Oh my god, I spelled that wrong. What's wrong with me? So, let me look at the date on this thing. Okay, so I did my first Comicsgate post, I think, in 2018 on my Instagram. And then I did this, I can't believe it's been that long. I did the CYBERFROG trading card painting I did in 2021. So any of you guys who have the CYBERFROG trading card I did, you know, that's how old that is. And my first piece of published artwork in Comicsgate, I believe, the one that saw print, was for John Malin, and it wasn't a paid thing. It was in the fan section of the Visions book, because I just wanted to get a piece out there. I was like, I want to do this, and I was getting to know John and Mark Polton. I remember messaging Mark about like if I could still get the piece in, because I was down to the wire, or I think it was I needed to update the piece because I just got glasses, and so I did that piece for Graveyard Shifts, one of the Visions books. I forget which one it is, or which book it is, and then cut to I guess 2 years or a year or two later, maybe it was 2 years. I was doing a double page spread of Lascivia from Nosfero for one of the creator-owned Visions books that John did. John is has been really interesting to get to know and work with as an artist. I mean, he's got because for those of you guys who don't know, I've done some like kind of logo adjustment stuff for him, and I did the Omega Storm logo and things, and I always have a good time talking shop with John, because he gets down into the crazy minutia, and I'm sure you guys can imagine, man. I mean, it's like he's like that with lettering. But if you're like me and you have a 3-disc set of called HD Trains, then yeah, you're okay with that. All right, there we go. So I'm just gonna split that up to there, because then I'm gonna paint that bit there blue. I might add, we'll see where we go, but right now I just don't want to chance it. So let's see what we got here. Let's see how this works. Oh, thank you so much, man. Yeah, that was a trick. Well, for my next trick, right? Getting here late. What is the base figure you're working on? Great question. Let me see here. Let me see here. I'm working on, what is the name of the thing? Shoot. I just had it a second ago in my head. I think it's Boss Fight Studios. Is that the company? I'm looking to see if I have the box around here anywhere, but I don't think I do. It's Boss Fight Studios or Studio, and it's I forget what it's called. It's like the blank sort of figure, but you'll see it if you go to Big Bad Toy Store, and it has sort of like that standard, hero mask mold to it. And so what I was able to do is, because it gave me a bald head and then that mask look. Oh, and it comes with the option of either bare feet or boots, which I want. And I've been looking for this forever. Oh, man. That's going to be so fun. Oh, that's cool. Maybe, I don't know if that's going to be the right, is that going to be, I don't think that's going to be the right size, though. Maybe not. I may have to pare that down a bit, but still, it's so cool. It's cool to see it, man. Oh, that's a trip. So yeah, so Boss Fight Studio, and I forget what the name of the actual figure was, but it comes with like several different, heads it comes with, and then it comes with, let's see, oh, you know what though? This is going to make the waist wider. So chances are, when all's said and done, it still might be too big, but we'll see. We'll see, because I'm going to put that on. I'm going to put that on well after I put this on. But we'll see. And then I also have to put on the, because there's more things that go. So for those of you guys who don't know the character, there's more stuff that goes underneath it. So there's the, let's see if I can show this to you here. There we go. So there's the front with those two, and then there's two other flaps that come down on either side, so it's got a little bit of a layer effect to it. So that's something I'm going to have to do as well, so I can use this to trace. But yeah, so I'm working on a maquette for Nosfero for my painted comic book, and thank you for asking, Scribe Comics. How are you doing? Yeah, getting here late. What's the base figure? Good. We got to that one, Boss Fight Studios. Let's see here. Where are we? Caleb's here. Yes, indeed. Yeah, day is going well. Glad to hear it, guys. Yeah, that's how it is. So, I mean, one of the fun things about this stuff is, and this probably won't surprise you if you know me at all, but there's this YouTube channel I follow of this guy who is just an amateur figure customizer. He's not amazing at it at all, but he's the most enthusiastic person, and he just loves customizing his DC Comics figures and all this stuff. And I just love the way that this stuff can inspire people to do things. If you're somebody in Comicsgate and you're backing books and you're supporting books and you're getting all the crazy cool stuff that happens, that's the best place to be in. I mean, I always tell people I have to make comics. It's so much work, but I have to do it. But I remember that when I used to go to comic conventions to show my portfolio around and all of that kind of stuff, once it became work, it wasn't nearly as fun to go to comic conventions. And so I say enjoy being a fan. It's such a blast. And that's why I like looking at things that I don't do for a living, as I'm sure you guys can imagine. Oh, right. So Baldo User says, let me see if I click on this. Super chat for $5. Did you get inspired by ancient Indian paintings while designing Pharaoh? When looking at it, it reminds you of ancient Indian art. Wow, that's interesting. I don't know if I would have thought of that. That's a really good question, but I'm trying to think of where I got it from that would make sense. I mean, I can see that. I mean, I certainly saw like a lot of that stuff. Certainly when I was a kid and when I traveled. But let me think what I was thinking about in particular. Oh gosh, it's gonna come to me because I know it's okay. So the biggest influence is definitely. Let me play you some cheerleaders too. By the way, super chats get cheerleaders. Here you go. Yeah, I got to tell you, I wouldn't be surprised. And so Mark celebrating it. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to get to that question in 1 second. But we also got Mark, member for 31 months, years, baby, years, saying, I must have that figure to go with my collection. Have a great stream, brother, and a chat. You have a wonderful cruise, Mark. God bless you. Have safe travels and a fun time on your cruise. And I'll see you soon. What is your go-to for reference? Okay, excellent. Arcadian Comics. So my go-to for reference. Oh, wait, let me get to Baldo User first, and then I'm going to get back to that. So my go-to for reference is for this character right here. Everything about this character is inspired by Alphonse Mucha's Art Nouveau work. Alphonse Mucha is my favorite artist. They recently released, and I must say I adore his illustrations for the Our Father prayer. And Alphonse Mucha is my number one, no one's even close after that, influence on my work. So if you know Alphonse Mucha's stuff, and so things like even his interior design were an influence. When I was doing concept art for Hasbro, when I first got out of school, I was making armor inspired by his Art Nouveau sconces and interiors, but he's always going to be my go-to influence in terms of how I make shapes and how I create forms. So 100% Alphonse Mucha. Yeah, you know it's true. It is a masterpiece. It's a straight-up masterpiece. So that's what I would say was my biggest influence in terms of that stuff, because there's something about, I'm a fourth Austrian, and I know people think of there's this caricature of Austrian people from movies and things like that as them being kind of Swedish and sort of blonde-haired and blue-eyed, particularly when you look at things like The Last Crusade in Indiana Jones movies and things like that. But Austrians are typically not like that. Like all of my Uncle Franz and Geralt and my cousin Reinhardt, all of them, they had pretty like hazel eyes, pretty dark skin, because it's just north of Italy. Hold on a second. Is Little Miss going out? Nope. Still here? Okay. So the thing for me is,
I gotta turn off the chat. Gotta turn off my cell service. All right, have a great time, Mark. So yeah, what was the other question I had? Let me see. Oh, what is my go-to for reference? Okay, so my go-to for reference. There's a couple of things. And it depends. And also, if people want to know what my advice is for people wanting to learn how to do comics for whatever reason, whether you decide to do something with it in terms of, here's what I always say. This is because that's another thing. Do something with it. If you play an instrument, I play violin and I just scratch away at it to play. I sing all the time. I love doing things like that. There's something to be said for things you do as a hobby, and drawing, just like writing or anything else, is a great way to exercise your brain if you have that interest. And I know my sister-in-law just started painting furniture and customizing furniture and refinishing furniture and started a business. If you have creativity in you that you need to do something with it. But don't always feel that pressure. Sometimes there's this great time when you're learning and nobody is looking at the stuff and it's not about what it goes to. And so, oh my gosh, though, those were some great designs. I know you're kidding, but those were some fantastic designs for that. That's not easy to do, to make something that's creepy and mixed up out of different parts. I still remember that scene. But so my go-to for figure reference is this website called Pose Space, where they have turns, 360-degree turns of figures. And then my go-to for the base of my figures, I started out looking at Bernd Hogarth, but he didn't fit quite right. Then, but I did look at him for many years. And then comic book artists, of course. I looked at Tim Vigil for anatomy. I loved his stuff. Todd McFarlane for gesture. And then there was Dave Stevens for figure, learning how the figure actually works, right? And Dave Stevens was just great because he brought that Wally Wood flavor to it. But the person, if I can find it, I know I have it here somewhere. The person who became is my favorite go-to figure artist is, man, I've digged the heck out of this book. I got to be careful with it. There's not a lot of copies of this. Got one of my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Soul's Winter book, which looks like it's been in the wars, is a guy named Willie Pogany. And I just can't find the softcover of his book that I had kicking around here. But I'm going to try to track that down before the stream's over. But Willie Pogany is great. And he does this kind of, hang on, this is going to drive me crazy. When you guys ask me questions, when you're in my studio as my guest, I like to take care of you. Because you guys are the guys who pay the bills. Let me see here. Shoot. Where the heck did I put it? It's got, you know what's funny is it's probably somewhere obvious, but it's just under something that... Well, here's the old version of it. Let me see if I can get this. Try not to fall. Okay. Hopefully that stuff didn't fall. So this is the old version of the book, Willie Pogany's figure stuff. And here's what I like about it. It has the anatomical breakdown, but it also has his gestures. And what's great about his gestures is they have a style. They have a personality to them. And I don't want to draw... I like to think of the figure as a very kind of, an active thing. I don't want to draw like stuff that's cold. And so I love gratuitous foot muscle art. You knew it. You know what's crazy is when I did my first professional job, Threshers, that Andy did the cover for, Andy Smith, for those of you guys who don't know Andy Smith, check out his stuff. He's awesome. There were pogs made of my stuff that I just got this year because I found a version of the book that came with pogs, and I was laughing my tail off at it because are you serious? They actually made pogs of like one or two of my pieces of artwork. It was crazy. Dang, I thought I knew where that book was, but I apparently do not. That is a trip. All right, hang on a second. I'm going to grab a soda, guys. Talk amongst yourselves, and I'm going to come back and we'll do what we do. that didn't work. All right, so. All right, doorknob just fell off that door, but we'll get there. So, by the way, if you haven't hit the like yet or subscribe, make sure you do, because that stuff does help us here. So, let me see here. All right. So, yeah, so Willie Pogany's stuff is great, and he predated Andrew Loomis. But I remember whenever I saw... Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that, Roadkill Lurch. It's great to see you, man, and I hope you're having a great day. Yeah, customs are... I'm amazed by you guys who make customs regularly. That stuff is nuts. So this is my first... my first attempt at a legit custom. I've done one other, I just remembered, using 2-part epoxy, which was just a face detailing on the NECA Pirates of the Caribbean Davy Jones, because they sculpted the nose area on that character before they had a finished design. And it was just... I'm a guest. Could I get a Diet? Yes, you can. You can get a Coke or a Dr. Pepper or something to drink. You can always get a Dr. Pepper here, because I grew up in Tennessee, and my wife is from Texas. So as you guys know, Dr. Pepper's a big deal in certain parts of this country. And is it big in the Midwest, too? I don't know if it's big in the Northeast or on the West Coast, but I know it's big in the South and the West. But is it in the Midwest as well? Pop or soda? I grew up calling it pop. Although, see, here's the thing. So when I was growing up in Grosse Pointe Woods, Michigan, in the same neighborhood as Dan Lawless, apparently, because God does not play with dice, yeah, I could think about this stuff all day. I grew up calling it pop when we were there. And I remember thinking it was hysterical when I realized that some people called their dad pop when I was a little kid, because I thought, why are you calling your dad soda? Except in Georgia, everything... it's true in southeastern Tennessee. Everything's a Coke. And so that's what I then switched to when we moved to the South when I was in Chattanooga, when I was 7. So then everything became a Coke. So I'd go, can I get a Coke? And they'd go, we have Pepsi. And I'd go, a Coke. What are you talking about? And it is, yes, he was, no, you're totally right. Lawless was the paper delivery boy when I was, 4 or 5, living in that neighborhood. He was a couple of blocks away. Andy Smith did the cover on my first professional job, and we all ended up in Comicsgate. This just keep me up at night. Shane Davis went to a BP gas station and bought a copy of my comic book that was on the... Why was that independent book on a... Besides, it was probably on clearance. Why was it at that gas station that he happened to go to? It was it's so strange. Because I did my first professional job when I was 17, I think it was. So I was 17 years old when I did it. So Shane probably was a couple of years younger than me. So he was probably 14 or 15 when that happened. So it's craziness. Sean, my dad was born in Detroit, but he lived in Grosse Pointe. You got get out of town. That is a trip. Wow. It is a small, small world, man. Yeah. I don't hear many people talk about Dr. Pepper in the Midwest much. Yeah, I figured that might be what it is. It's tough to say, and way too many of us pass through New Jersey. I know. Now, that is a trip. I mean, because for those of you guys who've never been to the South or haven't spent any time there or certainly haven't grown up there, comics and science fiction and fantasy are enormous in the South. And you want to hear something that is a trip and a half. My brother from another mother, my closest friend outside of my wife in this world, is a science fiction cover illustrator and also colored comic books. And he, actually, let me grab his thing real quick. Hold on a second. He was one of the colorists. Let me hold this at an angle. He was one of the colorists on this Shadow book. Do any of you guys remember this Shadow book? Shadow 1941? Do any of you guys have this? I'm sure some of you guys, you probably have seen it before, have you? So this book right here was the first Shadow comic I ever bought, and it was just a one-off of Marvel because the rights were moving around. You had that! Oh, there we go. Brian Lawrence. Hail, good to see you, man. Yeah, isn't that just killer? So I saw this book when I'm growing up in Chattanooga. I meet this guy. We become, really good friends. We're both teachers. We're both doing what we do. And I'm talking to him about how much I love Dave Stevens and The Shadow and all that sort of stuff. And he mentions just offhand, well, do you know that book, it wasn't very popular, and I'm like, what are you talking about when I figured out what he's talking about? But there was that Shadow 1941 book, The Shadow, Hitler's Astrologer book that came out from Marvel. I was one of the colorists on that with Mark Chiarello, who you guys know from coloring the original Hellboy Seed of Destruction and being DC Comics' big art director for many years. And John Wellington, another artist and painter. And so there's my brother, and he painted this book, and we happened to meet up here. It was like the first Shadow comic I ever bought. He's friends with Mike Kaluta and all those guys, and this is a gouache painting he painted inside of my book. So he signed this book for me, circled the pages he did, and then did this painting in me for it. He's a straight up genius, man. That guy is awesome. Awesome. And you could just think about all of the chance meetings that you have with people. Oh, so here's where the chance meeting thing happens, right? So he ends up working he's a science fiction illustrator who just happened to do that book. And a science fiction convention reaches out to him to have him as their guest of honor at their convention. And and it's the only time he's ever been a guest of honor at a comic book or a science fiction convention. And they, you know how people are in the South. So there's like, always will talk about like how well he was taken care of. But anyway, it's in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So there was a time in my life before I ever met this guy where he passed through, him and his wife were in my town at the same time. How that it's so improbable that you would be the guest of honor at a science fiction convention in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's just nuts. Hey, Chat and Sean, first time in this chat, subbed Last Hard Art. Awesome. It's great to see you, Lolzilla Soda. And I toast you with my cherry Coke, Lol Soda. God bless you. So, and so there were also times when I learned that my wife, Mrs. Ingetti, passed through the area as well. So that's another crazy thing. She also she also has Frank Frazetta's birthday, which is like there's so many crazy things, man. You start looking up this stuff and you start looking at things and maybe you want to see these things because you like the people so much. But it's great, man. I love it, man. I love Comicsgate. I love all the crazy folks I've met, man. So yes, indeed. Cheers, indeed, my friend. But it's a lot of you guys. I know Eric Huffles does some incredible art. All of you guys, a lot of you guys do incredible art, but some of you guys do 3D modeling. Some of you guys do where did I put those? Oh, some of you guys do gotta take something for the pain that ails you. Something for that arthritis. A lot of you guys do custom figures and all kinds of other cool stuff. And of course, Ethan makes his own action figures. I got my CYBERFROG and Heather over there. But it's really cool because when you see people doing, different interesting things, it makes you want to do stuff. You share Rockwell's birthday. That's right, Eric Weathers. I forgot about that. For those of you guys who don't know, so Eric Weathers is the co-creator of Battle Brick Road, and the artist of Battle Brick Road, and of course is lettered to almost every single person's project in Comicsgate, including mine, Nosfero the Cryptwalker. And I started giving Eric painting lessons. Let's not look at how long ago that was. Maybe it was a couple of years. And Eric so Eric's been just come a really long way. He's just been doing some crazy, amazing paintings and things like that. But he's had a passion for painting, and his favorite artist is Norman Rockwell, and he shares the same birthday as Norman Rockwell. And it's just so cool when you see those connections. They're really inspiring. Oh, wow. You live in Oakdale, Minnesota, and love Dr. Pepper and Cherry Coke. There we go. There you are. Yeah, it's always fun when we have someone come up from my wife's best friend since, I think, kindergarten. Loves Dr. Pepper. So when she came up, we had to make sure that we had some Dr. Pepper in the house for her because... wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? That's what they say. Yep, February 3rd for Eric Weathers. Indeed, indeed. Yeah, I mean, it's wild, man, how that stuff syncs up. Straighten this arm out. Literally and figuratively. Yep, that's right. And one of my favorite books, that's the day it's celebrated, Atlas Shrugged Day, September 2nd. Isn't that great? I love that at It's Me, Sturgis. That was, who, was that Ethan who drew that? It's a me, Sturgis. Is that Ethan who drew that? Or is that somebody else? I feel as though, I can't remember who drew that. Because that's awesome. I cannot remember. Oh, I think it was. Okay. All right. I wasn't sure. Yeah, I mean, that cartooning, I'm actually really excited for Rainbow the Brute. I'm in SoCal and grew up on, oh, it just jumped. Hang on a second. Grew up on Diet Coke and Coke lovers, and here I am, a deep Coca-Cola enthusiast and collector. My wife got me a Coca-Cola blown glass ornament, which I don't know if you guys have ever, those things, like if you have kids, those things do not, they don't hold up that well. But she's got me several Coca-Cola ornaments because, yeah, I grew up Chattanooga. We had the Coca-Cola bottling, plant that was a big part of our culture there, and then of course Atlanta. So all of that stuff. Let's see here. Yes. Oh, there we go. I think it was awesome. Yes, it was Ethan. Thank you, Jeremy Burt's art. Speaking of artists in our chat, doing some fine work. Jeremy Burt's doing some fine work. Shane was different, if I recall. Oh, Shane's was different. There you go. Yes, is Lil Zilla. No Fresca? No Fresca here. No Fresca. My wife, yeah, Cranberry Landers. Beowulf has requested that I draw my own Sturgis for this account. Wow. Is he throwing down? I just need to stop being lazy and do it. Is that right? Yeah, you know how pressure goes around here. People gonna push you to the excellence of drawing your own, but that's awesome. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's so fun. See if I can figure this out. Even when it's insane and crazy. So, that might be a great way to save some. Could that work? That could work. Interesting. May have to ponder that one. Huh. Oh, you guys, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm sorry. Let me move this back down. I'm looking at, too, and you know what's, see, this is something that's been bothering me with this character design for a while, and maybe I'll keep it. Sea Rock City, oh my gosh. I can't, what a mess, what a mess, yeah. Lulzilla's Soda's cracking me up. Yes, Sea Rock City, so I had friends who worked there and were in the Rocky the Elf costume at Rock City. Yeah, I had a polar bear Coke had a polar bear Coke, breathed on it wrong, and it broke. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There was a penguin one that my wife got me one year that I think went the way of the dodo. Just ask AI to whip you up a little something. Yeah, exactly. That's how we did. Yeah, sometimes when push comes to shove, needs must, right? Needs must. So let me see here. Okay, so I've got that, and so if I clip... Oh, I don't want to mess this up here. Probably too late, but we'll see. Okay, so if I do that... Okay, let me see here. And then I clip that. Let me just take a look and see what we're messing with here. Maybe that's the way... Maybe that's the way it goes. Yeah, maybe that could work. Just trying to think of, because that gives me a nice measuring point. I don't know if you guys can see that. That gives me a nice measuring point. Oh my gosh, who's gifting memberships? What the heck is going on? Who is going nuts in here? Oh my gosh. Collision Bomb. Welcome, gifted 5 Shanth and Jetty Art memberships. Thank you, Collision Bomb. It's great to have you with us. How generous. I appreciate it. And Andy Montemayor got one, and Lulzilla Soda got one, and Eric Weathers got one. All you guys are going to be in the credits of next stream. All thanks
To, of course, Collision Bomb. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Arcadian Comics got one. Brady received one as well. Brady2882. And let's see, Lulzilla's Delusions Power. There you go. So let me get you some cheerleaders. When someone gifts 5 memberships like that, we got to have some cheerleaders. We must have cheerleaders forthwith.
Charge! Charge!
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And wow, that's terrific. That's just terrific. Thank you so much. Wow, what a generous gift. Let me see here. All right, so when I line these things up, and yeah, everybody say your thank yous in the chat, by the way. What a nice thing to do. Look at that. So I think that could work. I had it off camera. And welcome, Glass Machine. It's great to see you. Hail, Eric Weathers. Are you doing those update emails for Ethan? Okay, there we go. Let's see. Art, hi to Eric Weathers getting added to more credits. Oh, no, seriously. He's the most credited man in Comicsgate. And thank you again, Collision Bomb. Much love. We appreciate you. Yeah, respect to Collision Bomb. 100%. Nice, says Lulzilla. That's right. Woo, thanks for the membership. Indeed, indeed. That's right. His delusions are his superpower. He's more intelligent than Yanzi. Is that right? Oh my gosh, I don't think any of us are more intelligent than Yanzi at this point. Are you doing those updates? Da-da-da. Yes, there we go. All right, cool. Remember Fat Man Squeeze? Oh, yes, I remember Fat Man Squeeze and Needle's Eye. The one that always creeped me out that I did love. I love the Swing Along Bridge. And then there was the, whatever it was, however many tons balanced rock that they had there. There's this giant rock that was balanced on this little tiny, smaller rock. Probably from when it was all underwater under the ocean. And it was the trippiest thing in the world at Rock City. And I used to be fascinated by that thing, but worry it was going to tip and fall. Oh gosh, as a kid, that was nuts. All right, so now let's check our work a little bit here and see how this looks. How close is that? Because I just eyeballed that for the most part. Okay, so there's some string back there. Okay, let's see what we can do with the fabric here and see if we can make this. That's close enough, actually. That's pretty close. So let me see if I can. Do I have a smaller pen somewhere I can do this with? Let's see. Let me see. I think somewhere I have. Let me just try with this, because I can always. If I leave too much, I can always make it, a bit smaller. But actually, with the pen drawing out there a bit, that does work. Let me just double check that. Yeah, I think that's going to work for us. Oh, that'll work nice. It's kind of an unintentional template, but it's the negative. I like when things are kind of the negative form of another thing. Okay, so for those of us who just got here in the last 30 minutes or less, what are you doing here, Shanth? What are we watching you do? Oh, great question. I just realized, yeah, I should tell you guys. So for those of you guys who know my comic book Nosfero and are on the cusp of getting the go-ahead tomorrow morning, actually, I'm going to tell them to go ahead and print it. This is a maquette I'm making so that my life is easier for Nosfero Book 2, which is going to be the next thing I do, or I'm starting it at the very least after I finish Springball. And then I'm going to kind of look and see what I want to do with Springball, because I have a feeling I'm going to be working on those simultaneously. But because sometimes I want to paint, sometimes I want to work in digital. So this was a 2-part epoxy sculpt custom head I did over a Boss Fight Studio blank figure. And so what I'm doing now is I'm making Springball's costume for this reference model so that I could get shots like that down where I have trouble with his mask sometimes. And then doing things like, this is the really tough stuff, the sort of three-quarter up shots. And then, of course, the straight up shot, like, because of the way his mask works. So I've had to build that stuff. Simultaneous loving, baby. Yeah, you gotta love Chef. Chef's the man. Everybody in the pool. Let's see here, Eric. We miss you on streams. Yes, indeed. Are you waiting until summer so that you can do sweaty tank top streams? Well, listen, guys. If we're good, I'll mention it. There we go. Mention. What are we talking about? How about telling him to update on the wrecked line art and CyberFrog universe prequel books? We haven't heard anything in a while. Okay. So I see what you guys are talking about. Yeah, you gotta love that. Vintage classic South Park. It's gotta be one of the most fun shows to watch. That stuff was crazy. But look at, the things, like, you could not have, just the materials, just the 2-part epoxy sculpt is crazy. When you look at what that's able to do. So my hope is that, what now having this is going to make my life a lot easier. But I've never built a costume and done a custom figure before. So all of this is the learning curve. All of this stuff is me kind of figuring it out as I go. So let's see if I can. Oh, Uwe. We'll see if my hands are getting shakier as the day goes on. And the arthritis crescendos. There we go. And I'm looking through the center of a ring light so that I can make sure you guys can see this stuff. Because you know what I mean? It's people need a break sometimes from just doing their own work and their own jobs and their own things, and sometimes it's fun. At least for me, I love watching how people do things, whether it's that bookbinder I was talking about, 4 Keys books, or things like that. I've always loved, even though I could not paint when I was a kid at all. So just remember that. Some might say I still can't paint. But even though I couldn't paint when I was a kid, I loved watching Bob Ross do his thing, and I still do. And it's funny because I'm sure I've said this before, but when you go to a fine art school, there is such a... People don't consider pulp art and the things that I do, or a lot of people don't consider it to be painting. And you deal with, a lot of nonsense as a result of that. But if this is what you're, it to me, it's ridiculous, because this is the truest form of all that stuff. Oh, that could be so cool. That could be so cool. Oh, bless you, sweetheart. Look at that. Do you guys see what I mean? That is crazy. Oh, thank you, Cranberry Land. Just jumping to my defense. Much love, brother. Yeah, I also enjoy Bob Ross videos. Yeah, that guy's undefeated. He's from the grave, y'all. From the grave, Bob Ross is winning. He's awesome. Yeah, it's so funny because that documentary that came out recently about his son and being, essentially just disenfranchised and all that stuff, which I believe has been resolved. So there's no need to rage against the machine at the moment. I think it has been resolved, but that documentary was necessary to get that to happen. He was that guy. He was that guy that you saw on screen. Like, did he live a perfect life? Did he do this? No, but he was really that dude. And you hear the stories of the people who met him and knew him, and you just go, like, the only thing that came out in that documentary, surprise, shocker, Bob Ross was a bit of a player. That was about it. That's all that really came out in that documentary, He didn't have that shirt open for no reason at all, okay? That's how Bob Ross was. But he was, really cared about animals and art and people, and loved his son to bits. And yeah, it was a pretty powerful watch for anybody who's a fan of Bob Ross and is curious to ever watch it. It's worth it. I'd highly recommend it, man. Yeah, happy little views, indeed. Yeah, he's kicking butt. Yeah, like Shane Davis, bro, we've been going nonstop since after. Yes, exactly. Let's help him take a breather soon. Yeah, he does need a breather. That guy works so hard, man. And so does Yanzi, but it's like but it's like, I don't think people understand. It's like Shane's a machine, and he's probably between him and John and Ethan too, for that matter. But I think Shane has really put out some amazing books illustrated by other artists that have expanded the world of Inglorious Rex. And I hope whatever he does once he gets to the other side of Inglorious Rex is something that he enjoys. And because that guy works so incredibly hard. His patience for nonsense is a lot. So I mean, I wish he didn't have to be so patient about it, but here we are. Let me see here. Okay, so that, and that. And let me just see here. So it's actually really helpful. This having this thing is kind of like a metric or measurement for this. I just got to figure out what. Let me see here. It's got to be just a little bit more together. So it's a little bit more like that. Okay. Food for thought. Yep, machine, absolutely. And I love his Bob Ross voice. We're just gonna. Okay, I can't read that. Glass machine, you killed me, man. Oh no. Naughty. How did you do it? How did you do it? My lord, you guys kill me. Yeah, he works really hard, man. And I know it's like such a stupid thing to say because of course he knows that, and you know, it's just I think, how do I put it? He helps other people a ton. Him and John and Ethan, all those guys have helped so many people, and John has just been really. And you know, people talk about. I heard John say, I may have even been on the stream, about, you know, own your success. When people help you, you don't have to, you know, act like, you know, I don't need people acting like it's all me. And it's like I completely get that, but John knows as well as I do that you always remember people who advocate for your work, and I know he speaks very fondly of the support and opportunities that he received via, you know, Rob or Jim Valentino, and for me it's Brian Stelfreeze and gosh, even my local comic shop owner, Wade, and his wife, who were really helpful to me and helping me get my work out there. So many people, yes, so many good deeds have gone punished. Yeah, and it's not necessary. It's not necessary for us to do it. You know, not for us. I don't do any of that crap. But it's not necessary for people to do that, and I think that can't be overstated. It's but you know, it's, I always say it's like sooner or later people can't do the fake thing very long. They're gonna burn out. God, this is so tough for me to wrap my mind around. Let me see here. Those of you guys who customize figures, you're awesome. Bless your hearts. Okay. Let me see here. All right. Let's try this. We'll see where this goes. Thanks, Sheba, for Sean. That just cracked me up. I don't know why. Was there a cat food called Sheba? I feel like I remember there being a cat food called Sheba with a funny you know, commercial, like it was it in Egypt or something like that? I think. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, A. Riley, in it. I can't remember. Yes, there was. Okay, there you are. You do. So yeah, it's that I just had this sudden, when you said that, I had this sudden flashback to a commercial. And it was a UK advert. Holy cow, did it come over here? Yeah, everybody in the chat's saying yes. See, everybody knows this brand. Is it still around? Is that still a thing, that brand? I honestly wouldn't know, but because I haven't seen
a cat food commercial in a while, but I mean, I remember seeing that commercial was on a lot. Sheba still makes cat food. There you go. Wow. Okay, so it was. So are they still in the States? Is that correct? They're still in the States. That's wild, man. But yeah, I remembered that ad suddenly when I read that. It was like a big deal. Oh, it was reincarnated as dog food. That's right. Yeah, it still exists. Everybody's keeping me real. What's up, Comic Books and Cahoots? It's great to see you, man. You're getting to watch my my fledgling attempt at not, well, I'm going to glue my fingers together for sure, but this is my fledgling attempt at making a Nosfero maquette. So, God willing, I will survive this. But yeah, this is just one of those things. So some of you guys, and you know who you are. Some of you guys are, oh my gosh, I just glued my finger there. Are probably paint miniatures or, make model kits and all that sort of stuff. I was always terrible at that stuff. Very nervous when it came to putting model kits together and all of that. I had friends who were awesome at all of those things, and I was not one of them. And, oh Lord, I'm going to have to pull that up because that's not where it should be. And, let's see here. Let's do that from the front. That, and then just see where that's supposed to be. Hang on a second here. And so I had a lot of friends who did, actually maybe I was right with that. I had a lot of friends who did that kind of stuff, and I was always nervous and insecure about that because it took me a long time to get the sort of motor control to do that stuff. And then of course all the crazy directions, and like a million different parts, and then what kind of paints you use. So I kind of got over that fear with the, non-glue Japanese model kits and things like that. But part of me is still always nervous when I do that kind of work. And so this is a real, what do you call it? Facing your fear kind of thing for me to do this kind of stuff, because I always felt like whenever I try to do this stuff and paint this stuff, it never came out right. So hopefully it won't come out awful is what I will settle for. There we go. All right, I think I got it. And let me see here. Oh, there we go. Sheba Cat Food, link in the chat. Woo! Hail Jeremy Burtz. That's right. Everybody is saying hello, hello. Good to see all of you guys, by the way, on this fine Sunday. I hope you're having a great one, guys. Oh, my Lord. Warhammer, oh my gosh, man. So my buddy, him and his brother introduced me to comic books, essentially. Like, they single-handedly introduced me to Todd McFarlane, Tim Vigil, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Dungeons & Dragons, like all of that stuff. My local comic shop owner, everything. He paints Warhammer 40K miniatures. And he was probably the first fan of my artwork. He actually has artwork I did when I was 14 or 15 that I think he bought from me, if I'm not mistaken. Or he traded me comics for it or something. I don't know. But he was like my first patron supporter when we were in like 6th grade or something like that, or 7th grade. And but he said, I always like to have you come over, and he would draw with me because he just wanted to see me draw, but I loved having company. And his name was Zach, terrific guy. And I think he gets a mention in Springball. He gets a special thanks because he was the person who introduced me to Todd McFarlane and comics. And Mike Zeck and Punisher and the McFarlane Hulk, which was my favorite thing in the world. And so he painted these Warhammer miniatures back during what is it? Oh gosh, what were they called? Was it Space Hulk? I think it was, that came out, and it was the gosh, what was it called? But it's the famous one where the guy's holding the head from the 80s, where the guy's like holding the goblin or whatever head over his head and firing the gun, and there's this big wide shot. So he would have me over, and he introduced me to Warhammer 40K stuff. And I wanted to learn how to paint them. I had all those little tiny paint jars that you could paint them with. But I never, he was always so much better at it than me, and he still paints Warhammer stuff. He had an Instagram
And I think he still does, of his Warhammer stuff. So let's take a look and see what we have happening here. There we go. We're getting there. We are getting there. That's cool. Now I just need the gloves, the boots, the belt. Yeah, we'll see. And I can always trim those sides down or pop those off, but that's going to do. That'll be nice. That's going to work. Yeah, I mean, seeing, like, YouTube is a really great learning accelerant, because you see a lot of people on YouTube just doing crazy stuff, and they'll take you through their entire process. So now the question becomes, if I want to connect this back there, I probably need to create a little filler for inside of there so that it has something to grab onto. So let me see if I can figure that shape out for a sec here. All right, so this makes sense. Grab this. Try not to have too many scraps here. Can't afford them. So, okay. So I'm going to move this so you guys can see it here. Hang on a second. Let me move this up. There we go. Move this down. So I'm going to take this, pin this down, and then never done any of this before. So always fun to have you guys here when I'm doing something. I have no idea what I'm doing, which is almost every stream. I have no idea what I'm doing. So move this around, and then there's a little line there. We'll do a little line there, and then that kind of comes in, and then put that point right there. And that will give us a little bit of a sense of what we need to do for that filler piece. If it's too big, if it doesn't work, I can cut it down, but it just gives me a little something to work with. So now let's try that and see where that goes, okay? See where that goes. So I'm going to go cut towards that. Then I'm going to cut up towards that. Ooh, I cut too far. I didn't need to cut like that. Overshot. That's a waste of material. There we go. And I have that. And now let me just see if that kind of fits. Okay. Yeah, kind of being the main word there for that. So I'm going to need to trim that down a bit. And let me just get that angle a little better, because actually I might be able to solve that problem with just 2 small cuts right there. Let's just see if that helps us. Okay, so still not perfect, but not bad. Okay, so if I glue that in there, I think it's going to work. What do you guys think? I think it'll work. Okay. So I'm going to glue that. Well, see, I don't want to risk messing that up. Oh, let's do this. Put that in there. Get that in place. Flip it over. Then I can sort of see where that is. And then I'll use this pen to line that up. There we go. That'll help us. And hopefully that'll work. All right, thanks, Cranberry Landers, man. I appreciate it. From your lips to God's ears, man. It's wild to do this stuff, but like I said, the premise of this show was real simple. Comics and curios inside the studio, and this is your fly-on-the-wall look at the making of Nosfero and all of my Nosfero books and Springball and my other comic books. So my 2 comic books, this is where they're made, this is where they're shipped out, and I want you guys to be a part of it, because that's one of the biggest things we do here in Comicsgate is we're trying to give you guys a fly-on-the-wall view of the process and get to know you guys. I mean, I've heard people say it before. It's like a 24 hours a day, 7 day a week comic convention, and it kind of is. Although we do have a legit comic convention coming up for the Fans Fest. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you guys there. If you have anything you want me to sign, I will be there to sign it. And I know we're making some con-exclusive stuff as well for that, which is going to be funding. So if you have not gone and looked at that campaign, someone please drop the link in here. Back that campaign so we can crowdfund that convention. And that would be just massive for us, because we've been talking about this since, and it's a huge reason for Comicsgate, funny enough, but about the idea of doing a convention, and to have that happen would be great for all of us, especially those of us who, you know, have been here for so long, and it'd be really, to me, it's a really great opportunity for us to kind of get together and celebrate all the work that's gone on and gone into building this, and all the books and all of the craziness. So here we go. I think that's starting to come together. Yeah, let's make action figures indeed, man. Yeah, Apex Comics 100%. Hail Sean, hail chat, Springball action figure. No, actually, this is going to be, I would love to do one. Actually, there's an action figure guy that I'm talking to all the time. We got to be friends recently, but man, will you have time to do a commissions and bring it to for the Fans Fest? Oh gosh, no, I'm not sure yet, but we'll talk commissions. We'll talk commissions once I get to the other side, because you and I have talked about that before. When I get to the other side of the head sketches for Nosfero, that's going to be my big plan right there. So for the Fans Fest, thank you, Glass Machine. Much appreciated, man. For the Fans Fest, Fund My Comic, guys. That's the official fundraiser for the comic book convention. It's going to be in October in New Jersey. I'm going to be there. Shane's going to be there. John's going to be there. Ethan's going to be there. I don't know who else is going to be there. I'm thinking it's mostly Andy's going to be there, of course. Andy Smith. My God, that's going to be fun. The Threshers boys reunited again. So crazy, man. Reunited for the first time. So I cannot wait for that. Yeah. That's going to be a blast. So yeah, like, oh man, like that's starting to come together. It's starting to look all right. And so yeah, if I can get this together from a reference standpoint, that'll be great. That'll make my job so much easier. And I'm not even sure right now, like I'm looking at, let me see how I drew it. So I always draw it a little bit different, but I just want to make sure. Yeah, I do draw it pretty big, man. It's like, I may shave some of that down, but as long as the base of this is good, then I'm happy. Okay, so then the next thing I need to do, which I maybe should have done before I pasted those other things down, but we are where we are, is to, and I really should not have cut that piece like that, kept, cutting when I didn't need to. So let me just cut that off so I have something a little straighter there to work with. Yes, reunited, and it feels so good. It so does. Yes, indeed. Hail, Gosku, what's up, man? 1984 in the house. Let me see here. Yes, indeed. Yeah, so this is a Nosfero maquette for to help me paint the next book of Nosfero. I've been needing to do one of these, and this company, Boss Fight Studios, released a figure with a kind of a generic superhero mask on it. And it dawned on me that, and it has boots, which I really needed, and it dawns on me that I could take this and customize it to make a Nosfero maquette. So for shots like this and that, these are the hard shots for figuring out the how to draw the head. All that stuff would be helpful, but also when I have this costume on, I'm always having trouble with this, is when Nosfero is posed and he's standing in a pose, like what's happening with the fabric. How is that stuff going to work, and how could it work potentially? I usually make it do, different things, so it's not like I need an exact reference, but I just need to have a sense of, this figure is so new, man. I just need to have a sense of, how it could move and where it'll be, and then, of course, I got to do the belt and the back part of it, too, so that's my big goal with this thing, is just to make the reference part easier, and I'm also seeing, as I pose it, how useful it might be just to adhere it right in the center Do you guys see what I mean? Because if I glue it all the way up to the top of the belt, it still might bend. But I might want to fix that. I'm not sure. You know, and I can obviously take it apart. Now that I know it's possible, I mean, you'd think I'd climbed Everest or something like that the way I'm talking. Now that I know it can be done. I didn't land on Mars or anything, but it's like a little bit of drama goes a long way, I guess. Oh, my Lord. So, let me see here. Okay, so I've got that. Oof. Let's see if I can figure that out. So, okay. See if I can wrap my mind around this. I'm just going to have to draw this because this is going to make me crazy if I try to overthink it. So, all right. So this right here is reference equals Shanth wants to play with toys. Yeah. Listen, you guys know me well in terms of that whole score. I have no shortage of that here. Believe me. I've got so many cool things. I even have, as much as I love Nosfero, and I do love Nosfero and his battle against the vampire, as they say. Let's make that to work. There we go. His battle against the vampire. My favorite vampire hunter will always be the Alpha, the Omega, the one, the only, Wesley Snipes' Blade. And that's actually a custom figure head from that I got online for Snipes that fits the Mezco 112. So I love that stuff. But I'm going to use my comic Nosfero as reference here for this because I don't show a ton of this stuff. You know what I'm talking about, Bob Jester. That is my favorite Marvel movie. In case anybody's wondering, my favorite Marvel movie is Blade. Oh, God, it's so good. And I love that it's the first one, too. But let's see here. So this is the back of Nosfero's costume, if that makes sense. So it folds over, and then also his belt, which I don't know if I planned for that enough. I should have cut that a little bit differently. Oh, well, I can figure that out. Let me see. If that goes around and that's the front. Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. It's wild when you're building something, because I know that's the big thing that costume designers and people say. It's like, you know, when you guys are creating this stuff, you're not thinking somebody's gonna have to build it one day. But I'm just trying to think about how that belt is gonna work. Yeah, Blade 1998 from New Line Pictures. Yes, indeed. That one was awesome. That's my one, man. I watched the trilogy for the first time a couple of months ago. Incredibly fun, even if it's not great cinema. Yeah, I actually love the not Van Helsing. Well, Van Helsing is the original OG. So the Gentleman of Horror is, of course, Peter Cushing's Van Helsing. So that's 100%. Yeah, that dude and Christopher Lee's friendship is one of the most admirable friendships I think I've ever seen in my life. Like those two were something else. Okay, how to do this bit. Is going to be tricky. So I'm just going to have to draw because that's the only way I can think about this stuff. So let me grab my book for reference. Funny to use your own artwork for reference when you have to, but sometimes you gotta. Can't show that on stream for sure. Every now and again, there's a nude figure in Nosfero, so be warned. If you're waiting on that book, which I think you guys all know. So let me see here. So I've got a flap that's going to fold over there. And it's a little bit wider than that. So that will fold over. Now, because this is one-sided cloth, I'm going to have to cheat this because this will fold over, but it's got to break so the other part of it can work. And so then this is the bottom half. Lord have mercy. I hope this is making sense to somebody. Oh man. I have to tell you guys, I'm so glad you're here on this Sunday. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the super chats, and those of you guys who were gifted channel members, thank you for the person who gifted those channel memberships, and for those of you guys who are channel members for a long time, thank you guys so much. It really is. It makes this work of comic books just so much better to have you guys here, and to have you guys supporting us is just, it's wonderful. Priceless. Okay, if I could somehow make it through this and use only one side of it, that would be great, because then I would have extra. Oh, that would be great. Let me see here. I have never done this before. I can't believe this is actually I'm actually streaming this, but that's what we do here, man. That's what we do here. Sometimes we stream late night trips to Walmart and go into the Pine Barrens, and sometimes we do custom action figures. We unbox or build pinball machines and action figures and all sorts of craziness here, and that's what makes it fun. Okay, now I think that's a something. Are you making him a leather diaper? Essentially, yes. Where I imagine I will end up eventually. There's no doubt in my mind. Hail Apex Comics. What's up, Skeleton Core Comics? Channel member in the house. It is great to see you, brother. Happy Sunday. I hope you are well. Yeah, I still like the Hammer movies. Oh my gosh, guys. If you're a fan of the Hammer movies, he'll be now, believe me later. They're really, God, I went into a Kermit the Frog there on my transition out of Arnold. There are some really good, well, okay, everybody. So there are some great Hammer releases now coming out from them. So this very wealthy gentleman purchased Hammer, and he started to remaster in 4K all of their stuff and release them in deluxe editions. And that stuff, my heroes in this world are film restoration people, because I love movies. That's a perfect example of something that is something I love to collect, something I love to buy that is not my job. I love comics, and I love collecting comics, but when it's your job, it's always going to have a little twinge of work. Thank you. I do my best with my Kermit the Frog. But let me grab one of these, because I want to show these to you guys. Hang on a second. Oh man, that was almost the end for me. Lord, somehow I'm still alive. If you ever hear a loud crash and I don't come back, just feel free to carry on about your day. Chances are I'm no longer with us. Let me see here. There we go. So, let me move this for a second. These are the Hammer editions of the 4Ks and Blu-rays. And it is just hail to Skelly, says Ghostgoo. I pictured Fembat as a 1968 Hammer film. Whoa, very cool, man. You never told me that before, Apex. That's awesome, man. So these are what they look like. So this is Captain Kronos, who's yet another vampire hunter. There's a lot of demon hunters and vampire hunters and Vampire Hunter D. So this is Captain Kronos. So it's got the logo on it. A great documentary. Exactly. Well, absent with us is present with the Lord. Amen. That is, you have no idea how yes. You have excellent timing. So this right here is what these sets are. And I love people who restore films and put these collections out. I mean, that to me is one of the greatest things that people do. The beautiful Carolyn Monroe, who is now, I don't even know. I think she's in her 70s or 80s now, and she's on all the bonus features. The director's widow, the great Brian Clemens, is on the bonus features on this, and the two of them were opening this set. You can find it on YouTube, on Hammer's YouTube channel.
and they're just the two sweetest ladies in the world. And she's like, I'm shaking, I'm so excited. And I think they use Brian Clemens' wife hands her a crochet needle so they can open the boxes. It's so great. They're such lovely women. But this comes with the lobby cards. So it comes with reproductions of the Captain Kronos lobby cards. I mean, how awesome is that? A set of 8 lobby cards. And then bonus features, it's got a poster, the Captain Kronos poster folded up in it. This almost looks like a Comicsgate book. That's what's so crazy about it. Then, of course, you've got the Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter, and it's the graphic novel comic issues that Hammer put out back in the day. So it's a collection of the comics. How freaking cool is this? And then the Kronos Chronicles, which, of course, is a great book about the making of Captain Kronos, with interviews, of course, with the wonderful Carolyn Monroe, and just wonderful. Just wonderful stuff. So yes, these guys, the people who are the caretakers of, cinema legacy, are really the people who inspire my work the most, because Nosfero is, with both the sexiness and the sense of danger and mystery, as Steranko would say, it owes so much to Hammer horror films. It owes so much to Hammer horror. Yes, indeed. Yeah, Carolyn Monroe is Caroline. Yeah, sweet Caroline, 100%. Yeah, she is. Is it Carolyn Monroe or is it Caroline Monroe? It's Carolyn. Is it? I'm trying to think of which one it is now that I'm thinking about it. If I said it wrong, but she's, of course, I have her on a poster behind me, which is the Golden Voyage of Sinbad, which is one of my favorite movies that Brian Clemens actually wrote. So one of my favorite movies. Love that movie. Some of my favorite Ray Harryhausen stuff ever. But she's just incredible. She's just incredible. So guys, we are at 2 hours. I think Aaron Lopresti has a stream. He's firing up at 6 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, with some of the boys. So if you guys are looking for a place to crash, head on over there. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me on this adventure of making the Nosfero maquette. I will keep you guys posted on my X account and probably on my YouTube section. So if you're subscribed, I'll try to make a post in the YouTube post section and things like that, guys. But thank you so much for being here on stream. Yes, have a great day, Comicsgate, indeed. And from the heart of Lovecraft Country and the birthplace of American religious liberty, my name is Sean Thajetti. You've been watching Sean Thajetti Art. Nosfero is fixing to go to press on Monday. Springball is coming together beautifully. I have the entire thing in InDesign as I do the renderings to finished pages, add pages for pacing. Yes, he wrote so many, especially the Avengers television shows. Brian Clemens is a legend. And the interview with his wife and sons on that Blu-ray is worth the price of admission. So I'm 100% Teflon Ron, and it's great to see you, Teflon Ron. I feel like it's been ages, man. So yes, I actually do have an idea to tell some stories on lobby cards that are unique, that are tied to this whole world. Really great call, and thank you, my friend. So let me see here. Is it Anthol K and so Anthol Considious? Is that a foul? Oh my gosh. It's like I'm trying to remember his name from before YouTube. See you on the next stream. Yes, guys. So from the heart of Lovecraft Country, thank you guys so much for being here. You guys have a wonderful day. Stay gold, keep the faith, and of course, speak easy, and peace be with you guys. Have a wonderful Sunday. Give nihilism no quarter. I will see you soon. And thank you, Comicsgate. I will see you on Sunday, and then I think Monday, tomorrow is Kings, and then on Wednesday, of course, we're doing hard art, so I'll see you guys over there, and God knows what else is going on. You guys have got me at the end of my my mind here. So yes, Aaron is live. Go on over there at 6 o'clock. Tell him I said hello, and take care, guys. I will see you guys very soon. And if you're a channel member, your name's in the credits. If you're a new channel member on this stream, they'll be in the credits next time I stream. Thank you guys so much, and take care. Bye. Let me see here. Where are my credits? Here you go. I almost hit end without the credits.